The Zambia Institute of Marketing has got two programs. These are number 1, the Diploma in Marketing, and number 2, the Postgraduate Diploma in Marketing. The Postgraduate Diploma has got 6 subjects. These include marketing, customer management, and digital marketing. They include marketing, customer management, and digital marketing. The other subjects are strategic brand management, marketing metrics and analytics, and there's the dissertation or the research paper. So there are 6 subjects in the postgraduate diploma in marketing. I'll repeat, these include marketing, customer management, digital marketing, strategic brand management, marketing metrics and analytics, and dissertation. Of these 6, 5 are exam based, so you go to an exam center and sit for the exam. The dissertation is a research that you conduct at your own time, and it will take you a period of in between 3 to 6 months, at least a period of in between 3 to 6 months. My focus in this particular presentation is to highlight what students need to know and understand in the subject marketing. That is going to be the focus. Let's get started. The starting point in the subject marketing is to appreciate the marketing mix. And what is the marketing mix? The marketing mix is a combination of variables that a business has control over, and it can manipulate those variables to satisfy customer needs. I'm using the word variables deliberately because these are elements that can be changed. These variables, a business has control over them, and the business can satisfy a customer by manipulating these particular variables. And these variables will include the product, the price, the place, and the promotion. The variables include the product, the price, the place, and the promotion. As you may note, each one of those words starts with the letter P, and therefore the variables that I just mentioned are referred to as the 4 Ps. The variables that I just mentioned are referred to as the 4 Ps. But these are not the only ones that students are expected to know and understand. Students are expected to also understand what is referred to as the extended marketing mix. The extended marketing mix. And the extended marketing mix adds 3 more variables to the 4 that I had mentioned. Remember, the 4 that I had mentioned were product, price, place, and promotion. When these are extended, 3 more are added. These include people, physical evidence, and processes. It is important for students to understand this because a scenario may be given, for example, of an airline industry, in which case a student may be asked on how they could apply elements of the marketing mix. An airline industry is a service-oriented industry, and therefore the 7 Ps would apply. The 7 Ps apply to a service industry, whilst the 4 Ps only apply to a business that provides physical products. For example, your mobile phone, for example, a wallet or clothes. They are physical products. The 4 Ps apply to physical products, whilst the 7 Ps apply to services. Students are expected to know this, and this is the starting point in going through and understanding the requirements in the subject marketing under the Zambia Institute of Marketing postgraduate diploma. Let's talk about the product. Remember, the product is one of the variables of the marketing mix. Under this topic of the product, students are expected to know and be able to explain what a product is, levels of a product, bundles of benefits, categories of products, types of products, characteristics of services, packaging, new product development, the reason for developing new products, and number 10, the product life cycle. Students are expected to know these. Number 1, what is a product? Number 2, the levels of a product. That is the core level, the actual level, and the augmented level. Number 3, bundle of benefits. Number 4, categories of products. These, for example, include shopping products, convenient products, among others. When it comes to the types of products, there are basically 2, services and goods. Number 6, we focus on the characteristics of services. Number 7, packaging. Interestingly, students must understand that packaging does not only apply to physical products, but also to services. So you'll find that a hotel may have a package which may be 3 nights for 2, and that 3 nights package for 2 may include pickup from and to the airport, and also it may include game viewing or some other additional benefits that could be added. Packaging also applies to services. Number 8, new product development. The process that has to be undertaken, that has to be followed to coming up with a new product. And number 9, why should a business continuously develop new products? It could be for purposes of competitiveness. It could be because customer needs change all the time. There are multiple reasons why a business must develop new products. That is one of the areas that is covered in this particular topic of the product. Each one of these that I am numbering as subunits. In the process of studying, students are advised to know the topic and to know and understand the subunits under each one of those topics. In this particular case, the topic is the product, and the subunits are the 7, 8, 9 I have mentioned so far, with the 10th being the product life cycle. When a product has been introduced onto the market, it begins a life. It therefore means that just as us humans pass through different stages, products also pass through different stages, and examiners expect students to know and understand what the product life cycle is, the stages in the product life cycle, and also additionally, students are expected to know how to manipulate the elements of the marketing mix according to each stage of the product life cycle. Let's talk about the price. The topic, price. What are students expected to know? Students are expected to know and be able to understand what is price. Simple as it is, but very important. Additionally, students are expected to know, understand, and to be able to explain the relationship between price and perception. The relations or the relationship between price and perception. Number 3, students are expected to understand, be able to explain the factors that influence price. The factors that influence price. For example, it could be the cost, it could be competition, or it could be that the product pricing is influenced by a legislative framework. This must be understood. A student must be able to explain this. Number 4, pricing strategies. A student is expected to be able to identify, explain, and be able to apply different pricing strategies. It could be, for example, price skimming, penetration pricing, discriminatory pricing, psychological pricing, premium pricing, and bundle pricing, amongst others. A student is expected to know and understand this important topic on pricing, and the subunits under pricing are: number 1, what is price? Number 2, the relationship between price and perception. Number 3, factors that influence price, and number 4, pricing strategies. So far, I've spoken about what students need to know under the product topic and what students need to know under the price topic. We are now at the place topic. Students need to know what distribution is. Students need to know what distribution is and also the types of distribution. The types of distribution, basically two: indirect distribution and direct distribution. Additionally, students must be able to explain the factors that affect the type of distribution. So if you as a business choose to go for direct distribution, you must be able to justify that. You must be able to explain the advantages and disadvantages of indirect distribution and direct distribution. Students are also expected to know the different distribution strategies. The different distribution strategies. It could be exclusive distribution, intensive distribution, or selective distribution. What does each one of those approaches to distribution entail? And number 4, students are expected to know the different types of intermediaries that exist, what each does, and how they can be used. These, for example, include dealers, agents, auctioneers, retailers, distributors, amongst others. And lastly, students are expected to appreciate the functions of distribution. The functions of distribution. What different functions can be performed under distribution. Lastly, students are expected to know, appreciate, and be able to explain vertical and horizontal integration. Vertical and horizontal integration. With these 6 understood, a student is better placed to be able to answer any question regarding distribution. And the topic here is that of place. Place is about distribution. The subunits are number 1, what is distribution and the types of distribution. A student should know and understand that. Number 2, the factors that affect the type of distribution. Number 3, distribution strategies. Number 4, intermediaries. Number 5, functions of distribution. Number 6, vertical and horizontal integration. Let's talk about promotions. The topic, promotions. The subunit, number 1, what is to promote? What is to promote? Number 2, what are the aims of promotions? When a business is running a buy one get one free promotion, for example, what is the purpose of doing so? So a student must be able to explain the aims of promotions. Number 3, the different approaches to promotions that are there. There's advertising, personal selling, telemarketing, sales promotions, public relations, and others. A student must be able to appreciate what it means to advertise, the difference between advertising and public relations, the difference of these two compared to personal selling, sales promotions, and other different approaches to promotions. Number 4, a student must be able to identify the different tools that can be used for promotions. These, for example, could include email, SMS, WhatsApp, social media, amongst others. These are tools, meaning they are instruments that are used for the purposes of achieving specific predefined objectives. And number 5, taking into consideration that there are a number of different tools that can be used, a student is expected to know and be able to explain the factors that influence the choice of promotional tools used. Why did you use SMS and not email? Why did you use WhatsApp and not billboards? A student must be able to justify their choices. And number 6, branding. Branding is a very important topic. What is branding? What are the benefits of having a brand? In this particular subject, a student is not expected to get so much into the details because there is another subject in the ZIM postgraduate diploma known as strategic brand management. In that particular subject, students get into the details of being able to discuss different branding strategies and also topical areas under branding such as brand equity. So the 6 subunits that a student needs to know and understand under the topic of promotions are: number 1, what is to promote; number 2, the aims of promotions; number 2, the aims of promotions; number 3, approaches to promotions; number 3, approaches to promotions; number 4, tools for promotions; tools for promotions; number 5, factors influencing the choice of promotional tools used; factors influencing the choice of promotional tools used; and number 6, branding. Number 6, branding. Let's talk about consumer behavior. Consumer behavior, that is the topic. Under this particular topic of consumer behavior, the subunits are: number 1, what is consumer behavior and what is the importance of consumer behavior in marketing? What is consumer behavior and why is it important in marketing? Number 2, the differences between types of customers. The differences between types of customers. There are basically 2 types of customers: individual customers or consumer customers, and organizational customers or industrial customers. There are differences between these 2, and the student is expected to know, understand, and be able to explain these differences. For example, industrial customers or organizational customers purchase in bulk, whilst consumer customers or individual customers purchase in small quantities. Another difference is that industrial customers purchase for production, whilst consumer customers purchase for consumption. Very important. Those are just 2 examples. Students are expected to know and understand and be able to explain the differences between the different types of customers. Number 3, students are expected to know and be able to explain and apply marketing to the decision-making process. The decision-making process, very important. Step number 1 is need identification. A customer gets to realize that they can be at a better place compared to where they are currently. Now, for that to happen, what can marketing do? What can you and me as persons who are studying, persons who are practicing marketing, what can we do to enable customers see the difference between where they currently are and where they can be if they purchase of our products? The last stage in the decision-making process is post-purchase behavior. And there's always going to be 2, and the customer is going to fall under 1. Post-purchase behavior could result in a customer being positive because they had a good experience, or a customer being negative because they did not have a good experience. A student is expected to know and understand the decision-making process and how marketing can be applied at the different stages of the decision-making process. Number 4, factors that influence the decision-making process. Factors that influence the decision-making process. For example, age, gender, culture, occupation, amongst others, can influence the decision-making process. And number 5, students are expected to know the decision-making unit. The decision-making unit. These 5 are the subunits under consumer behavior. I wish to make mention that consumer behavior falls under 2. There is consumer behavior that applies to individual customers, and there's consumer behavior that applies to organizational customers. Examiners may require a student to be able to identify the elements that fall under the decision-making unit for individual customers, or the elements that fall under the decision-making unit for organizations. Very important that this distinction is made. So to repeat, the 5 subunits under the topic of consumer behavior are: number 1, what is consumer behavior and why is it important to marketing? Number 3, the differences between the types of customers, and these are individual customers and organizational customers. Number 3, the decision-making process. Number 4, factors that influence the decision-making process. And number 5, the decision-making unit. Let's talk about segmentation. And segmentation is an important topic that students are expected to know and understand. So the topic is segmentation. The subunits are: number 1, what is segmentation? What is segmentation? Number 2, the concept of segmentation. A student must be able to explain the concept of segmentation. Number 3, the advantages and disadvantages of segmentation. The advantages and disadvantages of segmentation. Number 4, the basis of segmentation. What criteria are you going to use to segment a market? It could be, for example, demographic segmentation, geographic segmentation, or you can combine the two and therefore it's going to be geo-demographic segmentation. A 4th one, behavioral segmentation, and number 5, psychographic segmentation. A student is expected to know and understand these bases for segmenting a market. I wish to mention that segmentation using those 5 bases I have mentioned is when segmentation is applied to individual customers. When segmentation is applied to individual customers, there are different bases that would apply when you are segmenting an organizational market or an industrial market. There are different segmentation bases which would apply when you are segmenting an organizational market. A student is expected to know the difference and expected to apply them accordingly. And number 5, a student must be able to explain the characteristics of a successful segment. A student must be able to explain the characteristics of a successful segment. So those are the subunits under the topic of segmentation. Examiners may ask you a question on one or more of these particular subunits. The subunits are: number 1, what is segmentation? Number 2, the concept of segmentation. Number 3, advantages and disadvantages of segmentation. Number 4, the basis of segmentation. And number 5, characteristics of a successful segment. My name is Savoy, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain37. I also invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, Marketing Study in Zambia. I do tutor marketing, and I invite you to join my lessons. Let's talk about targeting. Targeting comes after segmentation. So remember, to segment is to break down a large market with diverse needs into smaller markets with similar needs. A business therefore targets a segment or more than one segment which proves to be viable. So students therefore are expected to know what is targeting. And number 2, very important, students must be able to identify and apply targeting by appreciating the different approaches to targeting. When products have then been made for a specific identified market, in that particular market, a business must be able to position itself. And that is another topic, the topic of positioning. Under the topic of positioning, students are expected to basically know what positioning is and also to be able to identify and explain the different bases for positioning. The different bases for positioning or criteria for positioning. How do you want to be seen different as a business compared to competitors? You may want to be seen as the cheapest, as having better quality products. You may want to be seen as having better product features, having a better location, a better approach, better customer service. It's all about how you position yourself. It's all about how you distinguish yourself from competitors. So these two subunits under positioning are all or generally what a business needs to know. What a student needs to know. Number one, what is positioning? And number two, the basis for positioning. And under targeting, under the topic of targeting, a student needs to know what is targeting and the approaches to targeting. Let's talk about marketing planning. Marketing planning, I wish to emphasize, is a very important topic, and a student is expected to be able to come up with a marketing plan. Therefore, a student must know, number one, the components of a business plan. And these generically would include analysis, they would include objectives, and number three, strategies, number four, implementation. And under implementation, there are three areas of focus. Number one, budgeting. Number two, teaming. And number three, scheduling. These three fall under implementation. Number five, evaluation. And number six, control. Number five, evaluation. And number six, control. Students are also expected to be able to apply different planning tools. Amongst these planning tools are number one, SWOT analysis. Number two, product life cycle. Number three, the portfolio metrics, which is BCG, Boston Consulting Group. And number four, General Electric model. A student is expected to know, amongst others, these planning tools: SWOT analysis, product life cycle, portfolio metrics, and the General Electric model. My name is Savoy, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain 37. I also invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, Marketing Study in Zambia. I do tutor marketing, and I invite you to join my lessons. Let's talk about business concepts. How has marketing developed from where it was to where it is now? Business concepts are different orientations that an individual or an organization may adopt in the process of running their business, identifying customers, or identifying areas of a business need. These concepts are: number one, the production concept; number two, the sales concept; number three, the marketing concept; number four, the societal marketing concept, which basically builds on from number three. The societal marketing concept builds on to the marketing concept. Then we have number five, the product concept. The product concept. And number six, green marketing. Green marketing. This is when organizations adopt environmentally friendly ways of doing business. For example, just being able to have a class online is an approach to green marketing. Why? Because a student would not have to drive or to move from one place to another, which helps because there's going to be a cut down on carbon emission, for example, and a lot more other benefits that come with green marketing. So students may be asked to identify the different types of business concepts or business orientations, or they may be given a list, or you may be given a list, and you may be asked to write brief notes on each of the given business concepts. And these business concepts, to repeat, are: number 1, the production concept; number 2, the sales concept; number 3, the marketing concept; number 4, societal marketing concept; number 5, the product concept; and number 6, green marketing. My name is Savoy, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain 37. I also invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, Marketing Study in Zambia. I do tutor marketing, and I invite you to join my lessons. Building on the business concepts, there is need to focus on the marketing concept. And under the marketing concept, a student must be able to explain the benefits of implementing the marketing concept. The benefits of implementing the marketing concept. But implementing the marketing concept is not as easy as it may sound. Therefore, a student must appreciate the challenges that come with implementing the marketing concept. The challenges that come with implementing the marketing concept. And number 3, how those challenges are overcome. You want to implement the marketing concept, there are challenges, and you have identified those challenges. So how then are you going to implement the marketing concept, bearing in mind the challenges that you possibly may experience? Students are expected to know these 3 subunits under the topic of the marketing concept. These subunits are: number 1, the benefits of implementing the marketing concept; number 2, challenges implementing the marketing concept; and number 3, how to implement the marketing concept. Let's talk about marketing research. Marketing research. And what exactly should we cover? Number 1, what is marketing research? Number 2, the types of marketing research. Number 3, primary and secondary research. Number 4, research methodologies. These, for example, include questionnaires, focus groups, retail panels, consumer panels, interviews, and observations, amongst others. Students must be able to identify different research methodologies and know when each one can be used. Number 5, the sources of secondary research. Sources of secondary research. Actually, it should read sources of secondary data. Sources of secondary data. And number 6, the marketing research process. Students must be able to outline steps in the marketing research process. So these 6 are the subunits under the topic of marketing research. Number 1, what is marketing research? Number 2, types of marketing research. Number 3, secondary and primary research. Basically, it's you understanding what they are. For example, primary research is also referred to as field research, and secondary research is referred to as desk research. What are the advantages and disadvantages of primary and of secondary research? Number 4, research methods. Number 5, sources of secondary data. And number 6, the marketing research process. Let's talk about technology in marketing. Technology in marketing. How can technology be applied in marketing? How can technology be applied in marketing? What benefits can we get by applying technology in marketing? Number 1, to reach more customers. Number 2, to automate our services. Number 3, to enhance customer experience. Number 4, to interact more with customers. And number 5, product development. And number 5, product development. These are not the only benefits that we can get by applying technology in marketing. There are more. Students are expected to appreciate that technology can be applied in marketing for specific benefits. Let us now talk about ethics in marketing. Ethics in marketing. What are ethics? What are ethics? And what are some of the ethics that actually apply in marketing? Number 1, that of confidentiality. Not passing on information given to you to another party without the consent of the owners of that particular information. So there's confidentiality. Number 2, use of information, meaning we only must use the information collected for specific reasons. Number 3, mutual respect. Number 4, integrity. And number 5, deceptive advertising. To avoid deceptive advertising. There are more ethics, and students are expected to appreciate number 1, what ethics are. Number 2, different ethics that would apply, and be able to promote the profession, pass the exams, and be able to proceed further with other areas of study. My name is Savoy, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Captain37. I also invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, Marketing Study in Zambia. I do tutor marketing, and I invite you to join my lessons.